بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله والحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين. ثم أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, we continue going over the tremendous book by the Fadilatul Shaykh Al-Allama Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan Hafidhahullah Ta'ala, a book that is entitled Kitab Aqeedatut Tawheed, the book of the Aqeedah of Tawheed. You may also find these chapters that we're going over in an older book that is entitled Kitab Tawheed by the same author, Shaykh Salih Al-Fawzan. على كل حال, whether you have Kitab Al-Tawheed or Aqeedatut Tawheed, you'll find these chapters are contained in both. As we explained, Kitab Al-Tawheed was the older book that was written. Then there were a few more chapters added to the beginning of it, and that became what you have in front of you, Kitab Aqeedatut Tawheed, the book of the Aqeedah of Tawheed. Now, Alhamdulillah, we have reached the section that's dealing with Al-Jahiliyyah, Al-Fisq, Al-Dalal, Al-Ridda, Al-Aqsam. We have went over Al-Jahiliyyah, Al-Jahiliyyah, and we have went over Al-Fisq. So, Bidnillahi Ta'ala, in tonight's class, we would like to look at Al-Dalal, Al-Ridda, Al-Dalal, Al-Ridda. And inshallah ta'ala we'll give an explanation or give a translation for each when we come to them. But I encourage everyone to really try to understand these terms as they come in the Arabic language. And it says a portion of the general encouragement for myself and for everyone who hears my voice to strive to learn the Arabic language. It is important, extremely important, because you won't be able to understand the Kitab and the Sunnah without understanding and having an understanding of the Arabic language. And this is why Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned that learning the Arabic language is wajib, because that which a wajib is not completed except by way of it, then it also wajib. That which an obligation is not completed except by way of it also becomes an obligation. Naam. And I want to give you an example, inshallah ta'ala, before getting into the first of these concepts on this issue, about that which is needed to complete an obligation thus becomes obligatory. So we can understand what we mean when we say that learning the Arabic language is obligatory. If you were in a situation, for example, where you didn't have the wudu, you don't have wudu, right? And the salah came in, and you don't have access to water. You don't have any access to water, except that there's a grocery store there and they're selling water. You with me? Like, in order for you to pray, what do you have to do? You gotta what? Well, first you gotta make what? The wudu. In order to make wudu, what do you gotta do to make the wudu? You have to what? You have to buy the water. So in this case, buying water becomes, for the wudu, becomes what? Wajib. You don't have a choice. You have to buy the water. Now, this is, you have the money, you can buy it, you have the dollar, plus change, whatever. Now, so in this instant, you have to buy the water. So, alhamdulillah, you have to buy it. Later. And this is just an example to show that what? That which is needed to complete an obligation is also an obligation. So we have to understand the Kitab and the Sunnah. That's an obligation, correct? You won't be able to do that without the Arabic language. You won't be able to do it without the Arabic language. The Arabic language is a tool, an essential tool that you will need inside of your arsenal in order to understand the deen. Without it, you're not going to go far. It's like an individual He has to put something together, and it requires from you X amount of tools. Maybe you need a flathead screwdriver, and you may need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you may need an alley key, and so on and so forth. Now, but you don't have a Phillips screwdriver, so how far are you really going to get? But most of the screws are Phillips. How far are you really going to get? Not far. So don't be fooled by the number of things that have been translated into the English language. Don't be fooled by that. That's a ni'mah and it's a blessing. Bila shak wa bila rayb. But don't become dependent upon a crutch. Don't become dependent upon a crutch, because that's all it is, a crutch. If your leg is hurt and you have the crutch, or you're in a wheelchair, do you want to stay there forever, or do you want to get out? You want to get out the wheelchair, right? That's why you go to physical therapy. That's why you do. That's why you do. That's why you do. Because you want to separate yourself from the crutch. Sah? Nah. Wait. So get rid of the crutch as soon as you can. Get rid of the crutch as soon as you can. It's like the young man right here who hurt his hand, right? He got the cast. You think you want to wear that cast forever? What do you want it off? Well, the quickest it can get off of him, you want it off of him, right? You want to see your fingers again, right? So understand it like this and make it a point of urgency, inshallah ta'ala. Make it a point of urgency. Don't be slacking. Just think about how many years you've been Muslim. Think about how many years you've been Muslim. Think about what you could accomplish with regards to learning the Arabic language up until this time right now. And then think about where you're at. And use that as your motivation. We have no time to waste. Don't waste no more time. Become serious, inshallah. And if you have to, sleep less. If you have to, sleep less. You understand? No excuses. You have to sleep less. The Shaykh, he mentions the third one we come to, and is dalal. Al-dalal. Naam, al-dalal. In the Arabic language it's called alif lam. In the Arabic language it's called alif lam, dad, lam, alif, lam. ضلال. ضلال. نعم. والضلال العدول عن الطريق المستقيم وهو ضد الهداية. الضلال, it means to go away from the straight path. To go away from the straight path. And it is the opposite of hidayah. Al-hidayah. It is the opposite of al-hidayah. Al-hidayah, this means guidance. Guidance, right? So if dalal is the opposite of al-hidayah, and hidayah means what? Guidance. So then now you know what dalal means, is the opposite. وقال الله تعالى من اهتدى فإنما يهتدي لنفسه ومن ضل فإنما يضل عليها. This can be found in Surah Al-Isra in his verse 15. Allah Ta'ala, he says what means, and whoever he is guided, and verily he is guided, and only to benefit himself. He's guided for what? To benefit himself. And whoever he is, whoever who he's gone astray, then he has only gone astray what? To his own detriment. He has only gone astray to his own detriment. Now, so we have a dalal. And it's important to understand that a dalal, it comes and it will have various meanings depending upon the context. And it's vital that we understand these things, because you will find the Khawarij and the people who are astray, they will take words and they will utilize them outside of their context. And if we don't understand what is the proper context in which a word is used, then you will find that they will use the ayat that are talking about the kuffar for the Muslims. And this is not correct. But this is from the characteristics of the Khawarij. So it's important for us, and what helps us and to safeguard us from falling into what they have fallen into, or to become deluded by their propaganda and the like, is by having ilm and understanding the likes of these things. So when they come and they're trying to use something in an improper place, then we'll know to identify, no, that's using an improper place. When they come and they try to use something saying that it always comes bearing the meaning of kufr, we understand it's not correct because it does not always come bearing the meaning of kufr. Now, so ad-dalal, it can mean, it comes with the different meanings. Yani. So the Shaykh, he says, ad-dalal yutlaqu ala iddat ma'an. Yutlaqu ala iddat ma'an. Inshallah, everyone, you need a pen and paper, inshallah ta'ala. Unless you have an immaculate memory like Imam Shafi'i, then tayyib. You don't need a pen and paper. But if not, then you need a pen and paper. Because the first one, the Shaykh, he mentions, taratan yutlaqu ala al-kufr. Sometimes ad-dalal, it comes and it means kufr. Now, sometimes dalal, it comes and it means kufr. قال الله تعالى, Allah Ta'ala, he says, وَمَنْ يَكْفُرُ بِاللَّهِ وَمَلَائِكَتِهِ وَكُتُبِهِ وَالرُّسُلِ وَيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا. This ayah can be found in Surah An-Nisa, in its verse 136. Allah Ta'ala says what means, and whoever disbelieves in Allah and in His angels and in His books and in His messengers and in the last day, then verily he has ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا. ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا. And the word we're talking about is what? ضَلَال. So here, he has gone far, what? Astray, meaning in kufr. He's a kafir. Because of disbelief in Allah and His angels and His books in the last day and in the messengers, then this is kufr. This person is a kafir. So dalal here, it means what? Kufr. Na'am, ahsant. So dalal here, it means kufr. وَتَارَةً يُطْلَقُ عَلَى الشِّرْكِ. And sometimes الضلال, it comes and it means shirk. قال الله تعالى وَمَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ ضَلَّ ضَلَالًا بَعِيدًا. Allah Ta'ala says, and whoever associates partners with Allah, whoever makes shirk with Allah, then verily he has gone far astray. So here, dalal was often translated as being astray. It can mean a person's astray from the standpoint that they made shirk. Whereas in the first example, a person's astray, and astray here means because they are kafir. Because they what? Because they are kafir. Thirdly, وَتَارَةً نُطْلَقُ عَلَى الْمُخَالِفَةِ الَّتِي هِيَ دُونَ الْكُفْرِ. And sometimes it can come and it means that a person, he is in contradiction to the truth.
Salaam.
But that which is less than kufr. That which is less than kufr. كَمَا يُقَالْ الْفِرَقْ الضَّالَّةِ. Like we say about the groups, the astray groups. You know the hadith iftiraq. وَسَتَفْرِقُ أُمَّتِي عَلَى 73 فِرْقَةً كُلُّهَا فِي النَّارِ إِلَّا وَاحِدَةً. And that my ummah will break into 73 different sects, all of them in a fire except for one. Right. The firqa that is saved, we say, is what? Firqatun najiyah. It is the saved sect. Now, those other 72, then we say about them that they are what? Al-firaq al-dhallah. Then we say that they are astray groups. But here, does astray mean that they are kuffar? La. It doesn't mean that they're kuffar. What's the dalil? Is the hadith itself. The Prophet ﷺ said, وَسَتَرِكُ أُمَّتِي عَلَى 73 فِرْقَةً. The Prophet, he said that my ummah will break. My ummah will break. Now, and the meaning of my ummah here, this means what? The ummah who answered the call of the Prophet ﷺ, meaning the Muslims. The Muslims. So this is an indication that those 72, they are Muslims. They're not kuffar. They're Muslims. Now, so here we know dalal, it doesn't mean kufr. But here it means what? Al-mukhalafa, that they are astray, or that they are in contradiction to the truth. So astray here means they are in contradiction to the truth. They're in contradiction to that which the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba were upon. So here, al-dalala, it means what? It means contradiction to the truth. Right? But so we understand now that those who are threatened from those 72 sects, that those 72 sects that have to go to the fire, that they're going to be in the fire for how long? Allahu A'lam, but not for forever. Now, why? Because they are Muslims. Because they're Muslims, and no Muslim will be in the hell forever. So they're Muslims. Now, طيب وتارة يطلق على النسيان شايف, and sometimes it comes and it means forgetfulness. Sometimes the word ضلال, it comes and it means forgetfulness, as someone had forgotten. ومنه قوله تعالى, and from it is Allah Ta'ala's statement, أن تضل إحداهما فتذكر إحداهما الأخرى. Can be found in Ayat, and so let one of them remind the other one in case they forget. And if they were to forget, meaning if one of the women witnesses was to forget, then the other woman will remind her what she forgotten about. Now, so here, and tadilla, it means what? And if she forgets. Now, يطلق الضلال على الضياع والغيبة, and sometimes الضلال, it can come and it means that something was lost and missing. It can be utilized in the language that something is lost or something is missing. ومنه, and from it is the statement ضلت الإبل, that the camel has been lost or the camel is missing. So the camel is missing, you will say ضلت الإبل. The camel is missing, the camel is lost, right? So here, when you say that, does it mean the camel it made shirk or the camel made kufr? No, the camel's no, it means what? The camel's missing. The camel's missing. So we see now the richness. We got it from this standpoint. It's an illustration of the richness of the Arabic language. The richness of the Arabic language, that you have a kalima and it can come and it has all of these various meanings depending upon the context in which it is mentioned in. So this is an indication of how hard you have to work. So going back to what we mentioned before, that we have to strive to learn Arabic, and we got to be serious, because it's not something that we can approach it lightly and think we're going to be benefiting from it. No, we have to be serious about it. As you can see just from this one word, the various ways it can be utilized correctly in the language and the different shades of the meanings it can have depending upon the context, and you find that this is how the words are in Arabic. And this is why the ulama, they say words, when they come alone by themselves, they really don't have a specific meaning. The meaning only becomes apparent once it is put inside of a siyaq. Once it's put inside of a context, then the intended meaning becomes apparent. Because you may say it, like for example, this word, and you say dalal. Like, we don't know what you mean by dalal until you put it into a context. We don't know what you mean the dalal as kufr, dalal as shirk, dalal as mukhalafa, that's being contradiction, dalal as being forgetfulness, dalal as being something is lost, missing, whatever. We don't know what you mean by dalal until you put it into a context. Then we know what you're talking about. Now, so this is the indication to show you that you have to approach your studies with Arabic with seriousness. Not no part-time, serious. Now, you add it in here? Hey, now. I forgot now. I skipped it myself now. Barakallah. Hey, now. And it was a fourth one. Actually, I skipped it. Ma'adira. And it is وَطَارَةً يُطْلَقُ عَلَى الْخَطَأ. And sometimes الضلال, it can come and utilize that a person made a mistake. He was in error. Now, that a person, he made a mistake, he was in error, then you could say ضلال can be utilized for that. وَمِنْهُ قَوْلُ مُوسَى عَلَيْهِ الصَّلَاةُ وَالسَّلَامُ. And from it is a statement of what Musa, he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, as Allah Ta'ala informed us, as Allah Ta'ala said, فَعَلْتُهَا, as Allah Ta'ala informed us what Musa said, فَفَعَلْتُهَا إِذٍ وَأَنَا مِنَ الضَّالِّينَ. He said, and I did it, and I did it then when I was mistaken. I did it then when I was mistaken. I was in error. I was wrong. Now, I was in error and I was wrong. And these are the 6 for ad-dalal. So let's go over them, being that I had missed one. So as to recap, that sometimes dalal, it can come and it means kufr. Secondly, sometimes dalal, it can come and it means shirk. Sometimes dalal, it can come thirdly and it means and to be in contradiction to the truth. Fourthly, sometimes dalal, it can come and it means that a person, he made a mistake, an error. Fifthly, dalal, it can come and it means that a person, he forgot. And sixthly, dalal, it can come and it means that a person, he lost something, or something is lost, or something it is missing. And then we go on to the 4th one, which is ridda. Ridda. Apostasy. Apostasy. الردة وأقسامها وأحكامها. Ridda, apostasy, its types and its rulings. الردة في اللغة, الردة in the language of the Arab, it means الرجوع. It means to return or to go back. الردة in the language, right? لغة, it means to return or to go back. طيب? And we see that as it comes in Allah Ta'ala's statement, وَلَا تَرْتَدُّوا عَلَى أَدْبَارِكُمْ, and do not turn back on your heels. Do not turn back. نعم. تَرْتَدُّوا, meaning don't go back. لَا تَرْجِعُوا, do not go back, do not return, do not return back. طيب. والردة في اصطلاح الشرعي, and ردة in the terminology of the Sharia, here الكفر بعد الإسلام, it means to disbelieve after you had believed before, to disbelieve after belief, to become a kafir after you was a Muslim. So disbelief after Islam. As it comes in Allah Ta'ala's statement, وَمَن يَرْتَدِدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ فَيَمُوتْ وَهُوَ كَافِرٌ فَأُولَئِكَ حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ فِي الدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ وَأُولَئِكَ أَصْحَابُ النَّارِ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. It's found in Surah Al-Baqarah, it is verse 217. And Allah Ta'ala, He says, what means, and whoever apostates from you, وَمَن يَرْتَدِدْ مِنْكُمْ عَنْ دِينِهِ. So we understand that يَرْتَدِدْ here means apostasy. Doesn't mean that they get any returned like in a physical direction or anything, but it means here what? Apostasy. And whoever from amongst you apostates عَنْ دِينِهِ فَيَمُوتْ, and he dies what? وَهُوَ كَافِرٌ فَأُولَئِكَ حَبِطَتْ أَعْمَالُهُمْ. Then these ones, then their deeds are what? Null and void. This is a reminder and a review from what we went over in the class dealing with the Nawaqid al-Islam. And it was mentioned that if an individual apostates, he apostates. And I want to see how well you guys been doing muraja, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. Let's do that instead of then. Let me ask you a question. Let's do that. If a person is a Muslim and he made Hajj, then وَعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, they apostate, they leave Islam, and they apostate for some years, and then after some years or after some months or whatever, they become Muslim again. You with me? Let me go back. The person was a Muslim, he made Hajj, then he apostated, he stayed like that for a time period as a kafir. Then he took his shahada again, he became Muslim again. Does he have to make Hajj again? No. Everybody agreed no? You don't have to make Hajj no more? طيب what's your dalil? Huh? The ayah? 2:17. Like, which part of the ayah?
He dies.
No.
Huh?
No.
Go ahead, read it to me. Which part of the ayah?
Whosoever he turns back from his religion and dies as a disbeliever, then his deeds will be lost in this life.
You know what? Ahsant. Now, that the person, if he left Islam and then came back to Islam, then what? Then he's still a believer. Naam, he's still a believer, and his deeds are not. If he left Islam, then he came back to Islam. But he's a believer now that he accepted Islam again. But his deeds from before, they don't go away. They didn't go away. And the proof of that is that whoever leaves the deen and then he dies as a kafir, then his deeds are null and void. Then his deeds are null and void. Now, so if he accepts Islam again, then he doesn't have to make hajj anymore, because he made hajj the first time and he accepted Islam. So he doesn't have to make hajj again, because that from that time it still counts. That make sense? No, that's not. No.
Will his deeds still be documented even if he apostates?
Yeah, they'll be held for him. Once he dies, then they're erased. And this is from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's from the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that even that person gets a chance. Allah. The Shaykh Hafidhullah ta'ala, he mentions, and I want you to really take good notice here, some notes. Because the Shaykh is going to mention the types of apostasy, or the categories under which the apostasy it'll fall under. Now, as opposed to mentioning the specific things themselves, as it comes in Nawaqid al-Islam, for example, right? The Shaykh, he mentions the banners or the categories under which these things will fall into, which is very important. So the Shaykh, he mentions, he says, الردة تحصل بارتكاب ناقض من نواقض الإسلام. He said that apostasy, it will be reached by a person embarking upon a nullifier from the nullifiers of al-Islam. وَنَوَاقِدُ الْإِسْلَامِ كَثِيرًا. And the nawaqid of Islam, then there are many. There are many nawaqid of al-Islam. وَتَرْجِعْ إِلَى أَرْبَعِ أَقْسَامٍ. And they return back to 4 types. They return back to 4 types. And the Shaykh is going to mention a bonus type. He's going to mention a 5th type actually. Now, the first one, الردة بالقول, is apostasy by way of a statement. By way of a statement. Now, so a person may apostate by way of a statement. And under this category, you'll find various things. For example, كسب الله تعالى أو رسوله أو رسولي صلى الله عليه وسلم. Like cursing Allah or cursing His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أو ملائكة, or cursing the angels, أو أحد من الرسل, or cursing one of the messengers. If a person curses Allah, curses one of the messengers, or curses one of the angels, or curses the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then this is what? This is kufr. This is what? Ridda. This is apostasy. But this is done by way of what? By way of a statement. By way of a statement. أو ادعاء علم الغيب, or if a person claims that he knows the unseen. A person, he claims that he knows the unseen, like the soothsayers and the mediums and the charlatans and people who claim that they are clairvoyant and so on and so forth. They claim they know the unseen. So this claim of theirs of knowing the unseen, this is apostasy. But this is what? This is a statement. It is a statement. أو ادعاء النبوة, or if a person claims he is a messenger. If a person claims he is a messenger, right? Then that person is a what? A kafir. A person claims he's a messenger, the person is a kafir. So how does people have doubt about Elijah Poole? Are they thinking Elijah Poole is a Muslim? And this man said he was the messenger of Allah. Just from that standpoint, how is he a Muslim? Not to mention who he thought Allah was. As he said, Allah was Master Farah Muhammad, who his father's name was Alfonso and his mother's name was Baby G. So how does a Muslim have doubt in his mind about the status of this individual? This person is not a Muslim. Wallahu musta'an. Ala kulli hal, this claim of being a prophet, and this is a statement. This is a statement. أو تصديق من يدعيها, or believing a person who makes this claim. If a person says that he believes in someone who makes this claim, then they're not a Muslim. This is apostasy. But all of this is what? Statements. These are all statements, different types, but they all fall under the category of statements. أو دعاء وغير الله, or if they supplicate and pray to other than Allah. Meaning here, dua, if they supplicate to other than Allah, then this is what? Apostasy. This is apostasy. But this supplication is what? Is a statement. Is a statement. أو استعانة به فيما لا يقدر عليه إلا الله, or seeking aid and assistance in something in which only Allah has the ability to do. So if a person is drowning in the middle of the ocean and then he calls out for Badawi, this is apostasy. Badawi is dead in his grave. How are you going to help anyone in the ocean? So to call out to Badawi, or to call out to an angel, to a prophet, this is apostasy. A person's in that situation, he calls upon Jesus. Jesus can't do anything to help him. Only Allah can help that person. But he calls upon Jesus. This is apostasy. He's in that situation, he calls upon Muhammad. This is apostasy. He's in that situation, he calls upon Jibreel. This is apostasy. So to call upon for aid and help and assistance in that which only Allah has the ability to do, and this is apostasy. وَإِسْتِعَاذَ بِهِ فِي ذَلِكَ, and also seeking protection and seeking refuge. Likewise, this is apostasy, seeking, but is understood what? Seeking refuge in that in which only Allah has the ability to do. Now, that makes sense? مفهوم? طيب. وثانية, secondly, الردة بالفعل. It is the apostasy of actions. The apostasy that's from the category of actions. كالسجود الصنم والشجرة, like prostrating to a statue or prostrating to a tree. The person, he prostrates to a statue or he prostrates to a tree and he worships that tree, then this is what? This is riddah. This is apostasy. أو الحجر أو القبور, or if a person, he prostrates to a stone or to a grave, right? Because he's worshipping that stone, that grave, then this is what? Apostasy. وَذَبْحْ لَهَا, or that he slaughters for the statue, tree, stone, or grave, then this is apostasy. But all of these things are from the standpoint of what? Of actions. These are actions. وإلقاء المصحف في مواطن القذرة, or that a person, he puts the mushaf in a filthy place, or he puts the mushaf in a filthy place, and he throws the mushaf in the garbage, or he puts it inside of the toilet, or something like this in a pig's den, in a filthy place. And this is what? This is apostasy. This is apostasy. This is from riddah. But it's the riddah of what? Of an action. Of an action. The riddah of what? Of an action. أو عمل سحر, Or if a person, he performs magic. The person performs magic. This is ridda. This is apostasy. Person performs magic. This is apostasy. وَتُعَلِّمُ وَتَعْلِيمِ. Or if a person teaches magic. The person teaches other ones magic, how to do magic tricks, sleight of hand, right? Real magic or magic straight up haqiqi. Then this is what this is, ridda. Or if a person he learns it, then this is ridda. So a person can't say, I want to learn magic so I can bust out the magicians. No, learning magic is ridda, is apostasy. And then the Shaykh he says, وَحُكُمْ بِغَيْرِ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ مُعْتَقِدًا حِلَّةً. Or worship, or ruling by other than that which Allah has revealed. Now I want you to pay close attention, and inshallah ta'ala, when it comes to this chapter, we're going to speak more in detail about it. But be warned, because sometimes the people of innovation and the people of Hizbiyya and the Khawarij, they try to come and utilize the kalam of our mashayikh that is general, and they try to utilize it for their own aims and their own ambitions and their own agendas. But if you were to study the kalam of the mashayikh, you will find that some of their speech explains other portions of their speech. They may mention something generally in one book or in one breath or in one lecture, just to mention it in detail in another book, in another breath, in another lecture. So you can't bring the generality and say the generality, that's what it is. No, bring everything the Shaykh he said, and you'll see the details in the issue that you can't utilize the Shaykh kalam like you're trying to utilize it. And you find, and I'm saying this to say that you have to be careful, because you find people, they come, and especially with the YouTube era, and they will cut and paste from the kalam of the Shaykh. They'll bring a statement from the kalam of the Shaykh that's a general statement, and they'll cut it out from the speech, because maybe in that same speech the Shaykh went on to explain in detail, but they'll bring his general statements, general sentences, and they'll take it out and then try to use it for their aim, try to use it for their agenda. So you have to be careful, and you have to understand the aqidah of the Salaf, the aqidah of the Imams, especially the Imams of the past and those in our time, because this will help you to understand. So if someone brings you some kalam from Shaykh al-Islam, Imam bin Baz, or from Shaykh al-Bani, or from Shaykh al-Uthaymeen, or from Shaykh Muqbil, rahimahullah ta'ala, and they're saying that, look, even the Shaykh was in agreement with this thing from bid'ah and so on and so forth. We know our mashayikh, we know these A'imma, we know that they were Salafi, we know that they were upon this stuff, so we know that what? That's not true. You're playing games. You're playing games. Because if you bring everything the Shaykh has said, maybe even in that same lecture that you bring in the one sentence from, it's going to refute what you're saying. But if not, we have other statements from the Shaykh and other books that clarify this particular issue, so don't play games. Because people get jammed up. They come back and they say about how Shaykh al-Uthaymeen said that. Not realizing that's only a portion of what Shaykh al-Uthaymeen said. It's only a portion. I'll give you an example. It is like the affair with Shaykh Uthaymeen, rahimahullah ta'ala. He was mentioning about the different firaq, and he said to stay away from the different firaq, to stay away from the different groups of people who are astray. And he mentioned Tablighiya wa Ikhwan, and he said, and the Salafiyun, right? They'll cut that, and they'll take that one statement, and they'll put it on YouTube. And it's on YouTube. And you have the people from Hujjah publications, which you stay away from them, because they are people who are supporters of Tahir, Wyatt, wa Amthal, and people who like him. But in any event, they were spreading this clip out on their groups and email group, whatever. They were spreading this clip out, just that clip from the Shaykh al-Uthaymeen, just that one clip, saying, look, see, even Shaykh al-Uthaymeen was saying that Salafiyya is a firqa like the Ikhwan, like the Tabligh. And this is an injustice. Why? Because in that same speech, if you play the speech to the whole of the end of it, you hold the whole thing. And Allama Shaykh Rabi', hafidhahullah ta'ala, he was there. And at the end, with all respect, he said, Ya Shaykh, as-Salafiyya hiya min Allah. He said, Shaykh, Salafiyya is from Allah. And Shaykh Uthaymeen, he agreed. He said, Naam, he agreed with what the Shaykh Rabi he said. And so then it became clear that what Shaykh Uthaymeen, he wasn't talking about the Salafiyun Ahlul Sunnah, but he was talking about those who claim Salafiyya, like Abdurrahman Abdul Khaliq wa Jami' Ihya Taraf. He was talking about these type who claim Salafiyya. Now, or how we have now in our time, we still got these ones, but the group that's in Egypt now, Hizbun Nur, where they saying they're Salafi, but they're not Salafi, they're Hizbi. This is what the Shaykh was talking about. And those people who claim Salafiyya, but they're not Salafi, don't go out with them neither. That's what the Shaykh he meant. So he clarified this is what was intended. And he agreed with Shaykh Rabi'. But you see what happened? They don't play the whole tape. They stop, they cut it there, that's it. That's a person that's, he intends corruption. Now, but if you played the whole thing, then you heard the Shaykh at the end, agree, said it's free from Allah. It's not from the Firq, it's not like the Ikhwan, it's not like the Tabligh, because that stuff is made up from men. But the Salafiyya, it is the haqq, it's from Allah. As the Shaykh Rabi' reminded, Salafiyya is the haqq, it is from Allah. And Shaykh Rabi' he agreed. So the point is, I'm saying that you have to be careful when you hear these things, something sound weird from, but you know it's from a reputable scholar. We know the scholar Salafi, but he finds some weird clip on YouTube from some obscure person who you don't even know who this person is, and he got a page, he put this stuff up and that, and it don't sound right. They know they playing games with the kalam of the ulama. They're playing games with the kalam of the ulama. But if you will go back to what that Shaykh he said about the issue in other places of the books and that, it becomes clear. It becomes clear. That's from one standpoint you understand. Second, from another standpoint, you understand where it shouldn't cause you any difficulty inside your chest, is that what? Is that every person, as Imam Malik, rahimahullah ta'ala, he mentioned, that everyone yukhad min qawlihi wa yutrak, that everyone you could take from his statements and you leave from his statements, except he's a sahib al-hadha al-qabr, except for the owner of this grave, and he points to the grave of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So even if at the end of the day, then what do we say? The haqq has no right to be followed. Every son of Adam makes mistakes. Every son of Adam makes mistakes. No one is right all the time. So even if that was the case, we have ihtiram for our ulama. But I'm just saying, be careful, man. People play games. Ala kulli hal, you'll find that the people, they like to play games. So the Shaykh he mentioned, and those who rule by other than what Allah has revealed. Somebody come and they say, look, even Shaykh Fawzan said it's apostasy to rule by other than what Allah revealed. It's apostasy. Nah, that's the truth. It's apostasy. No one is arguing it's apostasy. But you know what? Not in every situation. There's details. It's not general across the board. It's in details. But they'll bring half of the sentence, and the Shaykh he says, وَالْحُكُمْ بِغَيْرِ مَا أَنزَلَ اللَّهِ. They'll stop. But they leave the last part of the sentence. مُعْتَقِدًا حِلًّا. The one who believes that it's halal. The one who believes it's halal to rule by other than what Allah has revealed. You understand? The one who says it's halal to rule by other than what Allah has revealed. It's okay. Because you have some people who rule by other than what Allah has revealed, but they know they're wrong. They know the Sharia is better. They know what they're doing is not right. But they have excuses from the dunya, excuses why they have to do what they have to do, and they're forced to rule by democracy or whatever, because of whatever pressure, whatever. You understand? But they know it's wrong. So what do we say about this one? This person's a kafir? No. He's a sinner, he's wrong, but he's not a kafir because he knows what he's doing is not right. You understand? But the person who rules by other than what Allah has revealed and he says, no, it's halal, it's okay to do it, then that's different, right? Wait, it's like a person who drinks liquor. The person, he drinks liquor and he says that he knows he's wrong. The liquor is wrong, he knows he's wrong. Is that person a kafir? No. No way. But if a person says it's halal to drink liquor, then what? That enters into kufr. Why? Because he making halal what Allah's made haram. You understand? So it's important that we understand the details and the differences. So just merely not ruling by what Allah has revealed, it doesn't make a person a kafir. Just by across the board like that. It's details to the issue. Inshallah ta'ala, when we come to his chapter, we will go to the details, go through the details bi'idhnillah. Ala kulli hal, I want to highlight the last part of the sentence. The one who rules by other than what Allah has revealed, while believing that it is permissible. While believing that is permissible. Then that enters into riddah. But do not think that across the board in every circumstance, no, that's the case. Because this is what the Khawarij want you to believe. This is how they come and they say, we don't have no Muslim lands. Why? No one rules by Sharia. Which, first of all, that's wrong. But ala kulli hal, come on, man. So they say Egypt, that's a government, they kuffar, and then Jordan is kuffar, and then, this is oppression. It's not correct. This is from the way of the Khawarij. When the Khawarij, they'll come and they say, look, even Shaykh Fawzan said, well, no, it's details. It's details. You understand? The ulama, they have not made takfir on the ruling, no, the rulers of Egypt, no, of Jordan, so on and so forth. They're Muslims. They're Muslims. They're Muslims. And it's important for us to know and to understand that. The details. Ala kulli hal, this is from fi'l. This is from all these from examples from the standpoint of actions. And then we have ridda bi'i'tiqad. Bil-i'tiqad. They had the ridda, the apostasy of belief. كالاعتقاد الشركية or الاعتقاد الشريك لله, or to believe that Allah has a partner. To believe that Allah has a partner, then this is shirk. This is a belief that is apostasy. Take a person outside of Islam. أو أن الزنا والخمر والربا halal, or to believe that fornication, liquor, interest are halal. This is an example. If a person believes that interest is halal, fornication is halal, intoxicants are halal, then this is ridda, this is apostasy. Or an al-khubz haram, or if a person believes that bread is haram, right? Then this is what? Apostasy. It's apostasy. And these are just examples. These are examples. And the first set of examples, the person who believes that zina, khamar, that fornication and liquor and interest is halal. What has this person done? What has this person? He believes what? That which Allah has made haram is really halal. And the second type, when a person believes that the khubz is haram, he believes that bread is haram, this person has made what? That which Allah has made halal, what? Haram. So doing these things is what is kufr. وَأَنَّ الصَّلَاةَ غَيْرُ وَاجِبَةً, or they believe that salah is not obligatory. This is kufr. To believe salah is not obligatory is kufr. Now, وَنَحْوِ ذَلِكَ مِمَّا أُجْمِعَ عَلَى حِلِّ, or other than that, from that which there's a consensus upon its permissibility, أو حرمتي, or its prohibition, أو وجوبه, or its obligation, إجماعًا قطعيًا, a consensus that is irrefutable, أو مثله لا يجهل, and from those things that are similar to it in which it is not conceivable that a person will be ignorant about it. So all of this is from the standpoint of what? Of i'tiqad. And then you have ridda bishak, the apostasy due to doubt. Shak bishay'in mimma sabaq, or you have doubt in any of the aforementioned things. A person has doubt in the aforementioned things. He has doubt on whether or not angels really exist, or he has doubt whether Jannah exists, he has doubt on whether he really got to pray, he has doubt on whether zina is really haram, he has doubt on whether khubz is really halal, or he has doubt on whether any of the four things mentioned, he has doubt in it. The Shaykh, he says, كَمَنْ شَكَّ فِي التَّحْرِيمِ الشِّرْك, like the one who has doubt about the prohibition of shirk, the one who thinks that maybe a mushrik could be a mushrik, it's okay. Maybe mushriks will be in Jannah too. Maybe a person, he don't got to be a Muslim. Maybe he could be a Christian, he still go to Jannah. Maybe he could be a Buddhist, he still go to Jannah. Maybe he could be a Jew, he still go to Jannah. He has doubt. He doubts it. Now, then this is apostasy. Because it is going against that which Allah Ta'ala, He has informed us of. And having doubt in that which Allah Ta'ala has informed us of. Having doubt in that which the Prophet has informed us of. Or a person, he doubts in the tahrim al-khamr. Person, he doubts in the prohibition of zina and khamr. He's not sure. He's not sure whether or not zina is really haram or not khamr is really haram. Or he doubts in the permissibility of bread. or he doubts in the Risala of the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. He has doubt on whether or not the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was really a prophet. أو رسالة غيره من الأنبياء, or he doubts in the messengership of any other than him from the Anbiya. A person he comes and say, I don't know if Idris was really a prophet. This is kufr, it's apostasy. A person has doubt in Nuh, it's apostasy. He has doubt in Isa, has doubt in Musa, it's apostasy. You can't be a Muslim if you don't believe in Isa. You can't be a Muslim if you don't believe in Nuh with Idris. You have to believe in all of the prophets and messengers. أو في صدقه, of a person of a person doubts the truthfulness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If a person doubts his truthfulness, this is ridda. أو في دين الإسلام, a person he doubts in Islam. He's not sure. I'm not sure if Islam is really the truth, although he's claiming he's Muslim and he's praying and he's fasting and any, because he doubts what? That's ridda. That's apostasy. أو في صلاحته أو في صلاحيته, or if a person doubts of the appropriateness of Islam في هذا الزمان, in this time. I want you to listen up good, because a lot of these modernist people, they fallen victim to this. They fallen victim to this. Those who doubt whether or not Islam is suitable for this time that we live in. Anytime a person they come and they tell you that the Sharia is not suitable to fix the problems of our era, this enters into this. Having doubt. Islam is suitable to fix the problem in any and all times. You understand? In fact, that's the only thing that's going to fix the problems of the earth is Islam. Democracy ain't fixing no problems. Communism ain't fixing no problems. Capitalism ain't fixing no problems. Only Islam, only Sharia. So when a person will come and say that Sharia is not suitable to fix the problems, or it's not suitable to bring rectification to this country or that country, it enters into this. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous, because this is from apostasy. Now, apostasy. Or the person who has doubt, he's not sure, I'm not sure if Islam can fix the problems of this country or that. That's apostasy. Be careful. Be careful. So then the Shaykh he brings a fifth one as a bonus, and a ridda bitark. And this is the ridda by leaving something. As the Shaykh he says, كما ترك الصلاة متعمدا, like the one who leaves off the prayer intentionally. He intentionally leaves off the prayer. لقول النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, according to the statement of the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم, بين العبد وبين الكفر والشرك ترك الصلاة, that between a slave and between kufr and shirk is the abandonment of the prayer. I want you to pay attention. This hadith has been collected by Muslim. The Shaykh he mentions whoever leaves the prayer intentionally. Intentionally. This is a point, and I'm stressing the word intentionally. This is an area where the ulama do not differ. The ulama do not differ. The one who intentionally, straight up, just leaves the prayer, say, I ain't praying, I don't care, I ain't praying. The ulama have consensus that person's a kafir. You understand what I'm saying? They have consensus that person's a kafir. The ikhtilaf comes, and if a person he leaves off the prayer to kasulan, he leaves off the prayer out of laziness. He said, I know I should pray, but he's just so lazy he don't pray. That's where they differ, whether he's a kafir or he's still a Muslim. You understand? The person who leaves it off out of laziness. I know it's wajib, I know I should be praying, but make dua for me, this, that, and that. Then you have ulama, those who say that person he's not a kafir. You have other ones who say no, that person he's a kafir too. But as far as this one that the Shaykh he's mentioning, the person who says, say, I ain't praying, he refused to pray, he don't want to pray like this, the ulama have no argument amongst them that this person is a kafir. Right? So, hold on. So for this one, then this will be a person who committed apostasy by way of what? Leaving something. And then Shaykh says, وَغَيْرِهِ مِنْ أَدِلَّةِ عَلَى كُفْرِ تَارِكُ الصَّلَاةِ. Other than that, from the proofs and evidence was point to the kufr of the one who leaves off the prayer. And then we have the ahkam, briefly inshallah ta'ala, we'll try to go through them. It's 5. The ahkam on how do we deal with a person who has committed apostasy, how do we deal with an apostate. apostate. وأحكامها التي تترتب عليها بعد ثبوتها, that the rules and regulations that'll be connected to it upon the apostate after it has been affirmed, after it has been affirmed that this person is a kafir. And I want you to pay close attention. After it is affirmed, after it is affirmed, it has to be affirmed. And this affirmation is thubut, it comes from what? It comes from the Muslim governments and the Muslim courts. This is not in the hands of the everyday man. No, this is not in the hands of the everyday man. I want you to understand this point, that we mention these things and we mention them in general. Anybody falls into any one of the aforementioned things, right? Then the hujjah has to be established upon them. The hujjah is established upon them by way of the ulama. The issue of takfir is not in the hands of the everyday Muslim. It's not in our hands. It's in the hands of the ulama. It's in the hands of the Muslim rulers. It's in the hands of the ulama, the Muslim rulers. They're the ones who make takfir in a person. Until the hujjah is established, then these things have not been established. Until the proofs has been established against that person, then his apostasy has not been established to us as people, has not been established. So we still deal with them like we deal with the Muslims, and we consider them to be Muslims. You understand? The reality is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reality is with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah knows what they really are. We don't know what they are. So we treat them as Muslims because their apostasy has not been established. You understand? But once it has been established by the Muslim rulers, the Muslim government, the Muslim court, not no kangaroo court, not no side alley court when you your mans in them. No, the Muslim court with the ulama. You understand? It's very important. Very important. From the right way, from the ulama, the Muslim court has been established, then this is how we deal with them. Once it's been established by who? The Muslim rulers and the ulama, then this is how we deal with them. Right? Firstly, is the taba al-murtad, the person who apostated. We encourage them to make tawbah. We encourage them to make tawbah. فَإِن تَابَ ورجع إلى الإسلام في خلال ثلاثة أيام قُبِلَ منه وترك. We encourage them to make tawbah. If they return to Islam, if they make tawbah and they return to Islam in 3 days' time, then it's accepted from them and we leave them alone. You don't bother them. They fell into something, they start, whatever, and then they encourage, the proofs is brought against them, they encourage to make tawbah, and they make tawbah and they return to Islam. We leave them alone. That's it. We don't touch them. It's very important. We don't bother them if they make the tawbah. Either aba and yatuba. Secondly, but if they refuse to make tawbah, wujiba qatluh, then it is binding to execute them. It is binding to execute them. لقوله صلى الله عليه وسلم من بدل دينه فاقتلوه. Whoever he changes his religion, then kill him. And this can be found in Bukhaari and in Abu Dawood. On this point, I want to make a quick side point, and that is, this is the ruling of Al-Islam. If a person changes his religion, he leaves the deen of Al-Islam, then the ruling in a Muslim country, according to the Muslim government, to be carried out by the Muslim ruler, is what? That person is executed. Now, and this is the rule of Al-Islam, and we do not apologize for it. We don't apologize for it. You have people now, and they want to come in and make apology. Make apology for what? A person, if he asks you, how come the one who leave Islam is killed? Because that's the ruling of Allah and His Messenger. That's why. That is the ruling of Allah and His Messenger. You understand? And we don't apologize for that. Why should I apologize for what? You understand? There was a person, he asked, he said, how come if a person leave Islam, he get killed? He said, because that's the ruling of Allah and His Messenger. And there's no apology. And why should I apologize? Because even you have with you a similar concept for something that's way less. And it's acceptable, and you don't apologize. So why should I apologize? They said, what you mean? I said, because with you, if a person commits an act of treason, then what is the punishment for that person with the U.S. government? What they said? No, not expelled from the land. They get killed. Death penalty. Person makes treason in America. You make treason. You a traitor. God against America. They kill you. They don't apologize for that at all. So we supposed to apologize? A person turn his back on Allah's deen? A person turn his back on America, he get killed, and they don't apologize. A person turn his back on Allah's deen, he supposed to apologize because the Sharia say kill him? You understand? We don't apologize for that. No, that's the rule. However, that rule is for who? It's for the Muslim rulers. It's not for no kangaroo court. It's not for the mob. You know, the mob of men and the posse of men say, no, no, that's for the ruler. The ruler carries that out. That's his discretion. If he want to carry that out or not, that's his discretion. He has that's with the ruler. Ala kulli hal, I just want to remind you of these points. This is the rule of Allah and His Messenger. So we accept the rule. But these are rules that are implemented by who? By the ruler. But never feel ashamed. Never feel embarrassed to stand on the mountaintop and say, yeah, that's the rule of Allah and His Messenger. Now, that's the rule of Allah and His Messenger. Because believe you me, when they talk about the traitors and treason and so on and so forth, they have no shyness in saying, yes, kill them. You understand? There is this with Islam. There is this with Islam. Thirdly, يمنع من تصريف في ماله في مدة استتابته, is that he's prevented, the one who makes apostasy, he's prevented from the spending of his money in the time where he's in the period of time where he's given to make tawbah. Right? When he's encouraged to make tawbah, then he can't touch his money. His assets are frozen. فَإِنْ أَسْلَمَ فَهُوَ لَهُ. If he accepts Islam and he returns back to Islam, then he can have his assets to get released to him. وَإِلَّا, and if he does not return to Islam, صَارَ فَيْئًا لِبَيْتِ الْمَالِ. Then if he does not return to Islam, then the Muslim government, they assume his money, they take his money. Now, and they take it for Bayt al-Mal, so it gets distributed to the poor people and the people who need money. وَمِنْ حِينِ الْقَتْلِ, and once he is killed, then his assets are frozen and is taken. أَوْ مَوْتُهُ عَلَى الرِّدَّةِ, or if he happens to die, he wasn't executed, but he died from other causes while he was an apostate, then his money is not to be, his assets are frozen, his money is not to be given to him. وَقِيلَ وَمِنْ حِينِ ارْتِدَادِهِ يُصْرَفُ فِي مَصَالِحِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ, and there's a opinion that says once he apostates, then at that point his money, it gets given away for the general benefit of the Muslims. Now, linked to this, which is the fourth one, is انقطاع التوارث بينه وبين أقاربه, is that he is cut off from inheritance between him and his family members. فلا يرثهم ولا يرثونه, so he does not inherit from them, nor do they inherit from him. So a person leaves Islam, he can't inherit from the Muslims, and the Muslims cannot inherit from him. So he's cut off from any type of inheritance, either giving or receiving. And then fifthly, إِذَا مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ, if he were to die upon ridda, or if he were to be killed, executed due to his apostasy, على ردته, فإنه لا يغسل ولا يصلى عليه ولا يدفن في مقابر المسلمين, then he is not, if a person dies as an apostate, or he's executed due to his apostasy, then he's not to be washed, he's not to be prayed over, he's not to be buried inside of the graveyards of the Muslims. وَإِنَّمَا يُدْفَنُ فِي مُقَابِلِ الْكُفَّارِ, but rather he's to be buried in the graveyard of the kuffar. أو يواري في التراب في أي مكان غير مقابل المسلمين, or we throw him in some dirt, in any place that other than the graveyards of the Muslims. Now, so if a person he makes apostasy, then he is not allowed to be washed to be prayed over, to be shrouded, and to be buried in the graveyards of the Muslims, but rather he'll be buried in the graveyard of the kuffar, or he'll be buried in any place other than the graveyards of the Muslims. Now, and this is just some ahkam on how we treat the person who the apostasy has been established upon them. Now, any questions on that particular? And this is important that we understand that the establishment of it is with the Muslim rulers. If a person falls into any type of kufr, it has to be a hujjah established upon him before the kufr falls upon him. And the dalil of that is the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَمَن يُشَاقِقِ الرَّسُولَ مِن بَعْدِ مَا تَبَيَّنَ لَهُ الْهُدَى وَيَتَّبِعْ غَيْرَ سَبِيلِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلِهِ مَا تَوَلَّى وَنُصْلِهِ جَهَنَّمَ وَسَاءَتْ مَصِيرًا. And whoever chooses a path other than the path of the believers, whoever contradicts the messenger after clear guidance have been made known to him, and he chooses a path other than the path of the believers, we leave him that which left himself to and enter him into Jahannam, or the evil, or the worst of final abodes, or final destinations. And the mahil shahid in the ayah, min ba'di ma tabayyana al-huda, after clear guidance have been made known to him. So it has to be establishment of the hujjah before a person is ruled as being a kafir. But that establishment of the hujjah is a process that has to be overseen and looked over by the ulama. It's not in our hands. It's not in the hands of the common people, but it is rules for the ulama, and anything that will result in the establishment of those rules, then is that which is carried out by the Muslim governments, not carried out by us, common folk. No, it's carried out by the governments. Now, but ala kulli hal, it's important that we understand these issues inside and out, so that the Khawarij, they cannot come to us and play any types of games. And then we go on to the next section. Also, Shaykh, he goes a little more into depth on some of the aforementioned concepts here that are dealing with affairs of kufr, and that which will nullify a person's Islam, which is issues that are very important for us to study. As the poet said, "Alamtu sharr la lisharr lakin litawaqqihi la'annama la ya'lamu khayra min ash-sharr yaqa fihi." He said, "I learned evil not for the sake of learning evil, but so as to protect myself from it, because the one who doesn't know the good from the evil, who's not able to distinguish between good and evil, then verily he will fall into it," meaning he will fall into evil. So like when we study the nawaqid of Islam and the like, it is so that we, from the standpoint of knowing what not to do and what to avoid. So with ta'ala, we will address these chapters inside of, or these portions of the next section inside of the next class. Bidnillah. فنكتفي بهذا القدر، وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. نعم.